Hey everyone, Aggressively Average Dan here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to best utilize the transport helicopter in Hell Let Loose
Oh,
Vietnam,
nice,
as well as
nice,
the
boy.
controls that I use to help you take to the skies of Vietnam. Alright, so we have the pitch and yaw on the arrow keys and the roll and collective on the WASD keys. I prefer keyboard as controller. I found to be a little sensitive, but I used default for when I did try the controller and had some success there. So obviously, the first and main role for the transport heli is going to be picking up and dropping off troops into the front line to keep pressure on objectives or to create flanking opportunities with garrisons. The helicopters are the US faction's counter to the NVA tunnels, and at the moment are heavily underutilized in this role. A good team using a heli effectively can easily dominate the match with coordination and communication with squads and the commander. After dropping off your first group of soldiers, your job should be to look at HQ or garrisons if it is later in the match to see if there are people needing rides. You are the battlefield taxi, so save your boys from some blisters and snag them off the ground. But be careful landing, as trees will instantly snap your blades and uneven terrain can cause you to tip, which are both an instant death. Also to note, because not everybody knows this, if you've taken any damage on your first flight in and you land on one of these helipads and turn off your engine, your vehicle will begin to automatically repair and also begin to reload any of your ammo that you've used. In addition to communicating with the commanders and the squad leaders, it is also a good idea to communicate with any of the troops that you pick up. They might already have previous orders and have a specific place that they need to go, or you can also just ask them because they might have a preference between a hot drop or a safer drop that they can move on to the objective on their own.
Damn.
What's up?
I just got shot.
I will say this again, be careful of where you land, because I thought I was safe here and didn't really see the telephone poles, but as you can see, it's a one-way trip to that instant black screen of death. Another often overlooked use for these is grabbing a recon platoon and then taking them way behind enemy lines, because again, the spotter, being an officer, can build garrisons and stuff like that too, so if they get support from the commander or a supply helicopter, they can build garrisons in the enemy's back line, kind of like the NVA tunnels do to the US side.
Up in this corner. Yeah, this is great, dude. You're the man. Thank you.
And here is an excellent example
can
of why communication is important, but when you communicate, you gotta make sure it's clear. They gotta be complete thoughts, because stuff like this happens, and it makes not only for a funny time, but it also makes it for a very difficult time trying to decide what it is that you exactly want, so that your commander can help you out effectively. There is a real risk and reward to landing high. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of cool landing under gunfire and putting on a show for everybody on the ground, but at the same time, when you're losing people, like I am here on your way over there, it looks a little less cool. But your ability to do this will help you get troops on the ground in a heavily contested area, and that can be the difference between your team winning and losing. Which brings us to role number 2. Your second objective, if you can't find troops to ferry around, is to find somebody to hop in that M60 on the side and start orbiting objectives, providing covering fire. It definitely disrupts and draws attention to yourself, so you will have to remember to keep moving to avoid RPG or machine gun fire from gun emplacements or patrol boats. And there is another example of how important communication is in Hell Let Loose. I seen a guy laying down on the ground, but my gunner didn't see him yet. So in order to help get eyes on target and potentially eliminate the threat before an RPG comes at us, I told the gunner, hey, look, down right, there's a guy, and then continue to orbit around that, his last known position, to try to give that gunner the maximum opportunity to start lighting him up.
Good shit.
While you're trying to line your gunner up with shots, you should also be looking around on the ground. Like right here, there's a lot of troops moving through the trees, and they're heading towards our objective, which tells me there's a garrison or a tunnel, something like that, in this area. So I'm trying to stay low to the ground and look around to see if there is one, so I can report it for the team. Which brings us to our third and final
Hey,
role,
back corner of the compound,
aerial
right below me, guys.
reconnaissance.
There's
Now, I think this is a very
two
heavily
guys right here.
underutilized role. Again, the main role is troop transportation and an aerial gun platform. But the recon role turns this helicopter into a basically a personal UAV over any objective that you're on. I will circle the objective looking for enemy troops to call out movements and to tell the infantry on the ground, hey, look this direction because there's a guy there, as well as utilizing pings for, again, infantry or tanks or whatever else I might see in the area.
Yeah, Romeo, he's now in the middle of the street, heading around the wall. There you go. You got him.
Here's a great example of how that
to your left,
reconnaissance
direct left.
communication goes
On the other side of
to
that
save
rock.
Captain Mudbutt.
He's at the top, laying down, crouched. Good shit.
And definitely don't forget to ping, 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 because, I mean, you've seen how
Next to
hard
the
it is
Walmart.
to see that guy laying down from up here. Now just imagine you're a guy on the ground just peering out from beside the wall. You're going to have a couple seconds to react before you're getting riddled with bullets. Now at least you know there's somebody out there and you can take your time and
Shit,
take a peek
fellas.
slowly.
Another one to your right.
All right, everyone. Well, that about wraps up how I fly the transport helicopter
Nice
in
job.
Hell Let Loose
Yeah,
Vietnam.
behind
I hope
you.
you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, a comment,
right side of
or
your thing.
subscribe to see more. I do plan to put out more videos, more how-tos, and just general gameplay videos. But again, thank you for watching, and have a
crouch
great
right
rest of
in
your
front
day.